Hi, welcome to How to Repair. In this video we've got a washing machine with a plastic outer drum. A coin has come out of a customer's pocket. It's flipped over when it's gone down through the door seal, and it actually punched a hole in the side of the drum, which you can see there. Now this is quite a large hole. We may be able to repair it. Normally you'd end up with a crack in the drum or a smaller hole which is easily repairable. But on this machine we've got a large hole, and the customer never kept me the original piece of plastic, which would have made it easier for refitting and trying to repair. So what I'm going to have to do is cut a piece of plastic, put that in, and then using the Aqua Stick, which is a 2-pack epoxy putty, which is good for water conditions up to about 120 degrees, I'm going to seal the whole top area and see if we can actually repair this drum. Right, I'm going to take the suspension leg off for filming. Now, with this drum, it might have been easier to take the drum out and split it completely and epoxy from both sides, because this drum is actually splittable. It's one of the few that still are. A lot of manufacturers now actually weld up the joints. So I'm just going to press the button on the suspension leg holder and slide this out. That allows me to drop the suspension leg off. I've already removed the base, as I said. Now, because I don't have the original piece of plastic, I need a piece of plastic for this. And what I'm going to use is a piece of plastic off the drum, the transit bolt area. So I'm just going to cut a piece of plastic off this. Now, before going ahead, I've got a piece of plastic which sits in there reasonably. The reason why I'm going to melt a piece of plastic in there is to give it some extra strength, because this is a very large hole. Normally I wouldn't try and repair this. The reason why I'm doing it, it's a nice and easy one to film and to show you without taking the drum out of the machine. On a lot of machines you will have to take the drum out. So this is hopefully going to sit in there nicely. Now, I use an old soldering iron, and I've got it up to temperature already, and I'm going to melt the plastic, try to get this sitting. As you can see, the plastic is melting quite nicely there. You can see what I'm doing, melting the plastic. The fumes are quite bad, so make sure you're in a well aerated area. I'll try and zoom in for you on this so you can see what I'm doing. Don't push it all the way in the drum, just let it melt down. It's very easily to move the material as it melts and get a good bond to either side of the drum. Okay, so I've got the best part of this actually soldered and melted into the existing plastic. Just check you've got a reasonable fix. We're a bit thin here, so I'm going to add a little bit more. I've broken a bit more off the side, and I'm just slowly going to melt that on and try and expand the area. When I say expand the area, what I'm talking about is, as you can see me melting this here now, this area here going round is good plastic, but this is very thin here. So I'm going to melt plastic from this area going all the way into here and try and increase the thickness. And this way you will get a good fix. And then after we've done this, we'll put some epoxy putty on to not only give it more strength, but just in case we've got any small holes, we should be able to seal all the holes and therefore save having to buy a whole new drum or a whole new machine. As you can see, I'm melting just a little bit of the existing plastic. And then adding more plastic on top. Most of these drums are actually manufactured from recycled plastic. But a lot of the new drums nowadays, as you can see on the website, there's an article I wrote about the washing machine manufacturers producing sealed drums, which is an absolute disgrace towards recycling, because what they're actually doing is sealing up the drum so you can't change the bearings. And by sealing up the drum, they guarantee that the machine is only going to last X amount of use, or X amount of years. So I'll just carry on filling this now, and then we'll come back to it when I'm ready to put the epoxy on. Right, now we've finished soldering the plastic, and you can see how far around that I've actually soldered. And you can see how strong it is already. But what we're going to do, just so we don't have to do the job twice, is I'm going to go around the edges now with a Dremel and just sand up some rough area before putting the epoxy putty on. Just clearing any loose stuff, and I might put a little bit of sandpaper on there as well. Just take your time, get a nice clean area. I already think this is sealed well enough that it's not going to leak, but hopefully the epoxy putty will do the job. Now at this point you could do a leak check by turning the machine over, filling the drum full of water on the side that it was leaking, to see if there's any drips coming through. Well, I'm not going to bother on this. I'm going to clean up all the area, fix this epoxy, and also remember, once you've done this plastic melting, if you did do a leak check and you found out you did have a drip, say coming from this corner or somewhere, you can always remelt the plastic again and try and seal it up before using the epoxy putty. Right, this is the Lockfast Aquastick epoxy putty that I use, and it's basically two components, and what I have to do is just chop a reasonable amount off, and you can see that it's white in the inside and green on the outside. Just going to peel off the outer plastic, and there I've got the mass. Now I need to mix this for about a minute. You've got about 10-15 minutes worth of usage, but you need to mix this up thoroughly. Should use gloves. Okay, I've been mixing this now for about 30 seconds to a minute, and as you can see, all the green has gone, and that's ready for applying. Now this will go off like steel when it's gone. So I'm putting it well around this suspension and trying to press it into every nook and cranny. And one of the reasons why I sanded the drum was so it adheres a little bit better. You can see here that I'm actually going around the leg a little bit to give it more strength. You'll start sometimes to feel this getting a little bit warm as the 2-pack reacts It doesn't get very hot, it just gets warm. And with a little bit of water, we'll just smooth it off after. And there we go. I've just got to go and wash up now to get this off. We're going to leave that set now for about 30 minutes and we'll come back and have a look at it. Right, now we've put this epoxy putty on, and as you can see it's sealed well. It's good all the way round, but just for safety, you can see how hard it is, but just for safety I'm going to use a glue which is called D-bore. Now I normally use this, it's specially designed for washing machines to stick to rubber and plastic, but it is one of the stickiest glues you've ever come across. It's not expensive, it's under £10 a tube, and what I'm going to do is put a small amount all the way around the joint, just on the edge, and that will stop any water coming through. And as you can see, it's quite a thin liquid, and I'm just going to smear that all the way around the joint. It is a nightmare to get off your fingers, so if you have got rubber gloves, use them. It's very good for putting an area just where these joints are, because they are very hard to seal. As you can see, that's already going off. It only takes a couple of minutes for this to go off, but it's just giving us that last little bit of protection so we don't have to take the machine apart again, hopefully. It's always a good idea to do a water test first, but I've done this many times, and just by putting this on I know that it's going to make a good seal, and you can see how well it's sticking to the plastic even though I haven't Dremeled it or anything around that edge. Okay, first thing we're going to do, put the suspension leg on. You see the little clip here? That's the one I pressed down. Push that all the way through, and that's ready. And now we can put the base of the machine back on. This machine is an LG, so you have to remove the whole base of the machine. Other machines from different manufacturers will have steel bottoms, so you might have to take the drum out. And once that's done, I'm able to put the screws in. And as you can see, the machine is now filling, and this is the area where we had the great big hole. Right, the machine has now been running for 5-10 minutes. It's slowly heating up, but as we can see, the repair on this side, this is where we've done the repair next to this suspension leg. There's no water coming out at all now. I'll just zoom in for you so you can see this. And here we have the actual repair, and there's no water at all, so we've done an excellent job there, and we've saved a few £100 on having to buy a new machine. There you go. Thank you very much indeed for watching this video. I hope I helped you repair your washing machine. Remember, the D-bore glue and the adhesive putty can be found on the tutorial at the website. Just follow the links above on the info button on YouTube, and that will take you directly through to our website. And if you did find this video helpful, please remember you can always support the website by buying us a beer. Thanks very much indeed for watching this video.